G'day everyone, I am the man called Kemosabe, the man with a plan from the land down under, and this video is an opportunity for me to talk a little about my upcoming comic book project, The Company Men, Dead, White and Blue. The pre-launch page is live right now and a link is in the description below. Backers to sign up have a chance to win original art pages from the book, so if you're planning on backing the campaign, you might as well sign up ahead of time to be in the running for that prize. I'll just read the copy here. The Company Men, Dead, White and Blue. The Company Men, a group of superpowered mercenaries working for the CIA. When they learn a terrorist attack is imminent, they follow every lead in a desperate race against the clock. Betrayed at every turn, this mission tests their loyalty to their country, their job, and each other. You're backing a full-colour 60-page graphic novel, illustrated and coloured by some of the best indie talent in Brazil, and written by Lee Kemosabe Carver. This book blends the intrigue of Body of Lies and Homeland with the action of Suicide Squad. This book will be complete when the campaign launches. Currently 60% complete, this book will be 100% ready to go to the printer when the campaign goes live. Back with confidence and get your reward early. You see over here a screenshot of some of the completed pages of artwork. Currently got 45 pages out of 60 complete, and I should be getting a new batch of pages delivered to me this week from my artist.
But why?
It was Christmas of 2011. I had just finished watching the first season of Homeland. The tense, unstable world of Middle Eastern operations was fresh in my mind. I had been imbibing a lot of media about the Middle East wars, including the 2008 film Body of Lies. There is a scene in Homeland where Carrie is being dragged away by security as her informant yells a warning at her, that an American soldier has been turned and become radicalized. Carrie is ejected before she can learn the details and is left with just a vague warning, the idea that somewhere, someone is planning on doing something bad. She believes it, but she has little to go on. That sensation, that feeling of being lost, drifting amidst possibility and imminent danger was what I wanted to capture and put on paper. I reckon about 60% of my ideas for stories is just adding superpowered characters to a situation. 30% of the rest of my ideas are just, let's add Batman. I took the idea of the imminent terrorist attack, that specific scene where a CIA agent is given a warning as her informant is being dragged away, added superpowers to the agent and started writing. I wanted to establish the characters as cold-blooded killers, the kind that have few qualms about killing dictators and world leaders if the need arises. Men who follow orders and do the horrible things that no one else wants to do. They have loyalty, I reasoned. But it was the same mean loyalty Leonardo DiCaprio's character in Body of Lies had, a cynical, worn-down loyalty, one born from the vain hope that his actions helped make the world a better place than it was. The CIA is known worldwide as the company, and loyal employees of a business or corporation are sometimes called company men. I liked the wordplay, and before I even put pen to paper I knew this story would be called The Company Men. When your boy was spruiking Jawbreaker's Lost Souls, one thing he did that really engaged my interest, aside from having a great cover image, was the video he released when he explained who the characters were, how and why he made them, and what they could do. It was probably fortuitous he did this because one of the main points of criticism for his comic was that the characters' powers and abilities weren't explicitly stated. Story is plot, but plot is the obstacles the characters have to overcome. What draws me into the story is character, the characters, who they are, what they can do, and how they react to and deal with these obstacles. Knowing who the Jawbreakers were gave me a lot more enthusiasm for the project. I'm hoping by discussing the characters, who they are and what they can do, as well as what influenced their creation, I will engender your enthusiasm towards this project in a similar fashion. I have somewhere in the neighbourhood of 30 to 40 comic franchises just like Company Men that are scripted or at least partially scripted. If this comic does well, it can potentially see the creation of a lifetime of work. This will become my career and I can make comics for a very, very long time. The Company Men are a CIA metahuman strike force stationed in the Middle East. They have received their orders from a local area director known only as the Boss. Agent Dura is the long-running leader of the Company Men. He constantly generates an intense field of cold that he channels through a unique freeze ray gun. Without the gun, Dura cannot quickly or effectively focus his power. In the opening scenes of The Company Men, Dead, White and Blue, we see Dura use his powers to assassinate a genocidal dictator. While his powers are cold, his demeanour isn't. He is professional, reserved and controlled, but not immune to losing his temper, especially when people he cares about are threatened. Originally saddled with the codename Icebreaker, Dura prefers to be referred to by a surname. Dura and Cinder are close friends, having worked together for several years. They've built mutual respect and trust, with Cinder often anticipating what Dura expects as team leader. Dura, in turn, helps rein in Cinder's temper and helps him focus on the task at hand. When I wrote the opening scene of what would become the Company Men, Dead, White and Blue, I saw in my mind's eye a metahuman agent as he watches an African dictator address a crowd. The dictator is a monster, a genocidal madman responsible for untold thousands of deaths, who, because of politics, remains untouchable. I saw the metahuman extend his hand and drop the temperature around the dictator, causing the air to grow cold, freezing the blood inside his veins. The dictator cracks and splits, then shatters. Chunks of frozen flesh scatter over the platform as the crowd flees, screaming. An act of God, they'll call it. The day it snowed in Africa. The day Dura, the Iceman, was born. A walking elemental of heat, ash and glowing embers. Agent Cinder is deceptively powerful, able to reconstitute himself after complete physical disassembly, able to fit through any non-airtight space, and able to fly as a gout of burning soot and cinders. His virtual immortality has made him cynical and unable to take many things seriously. He believes he is the agent with his eyes most open to the truth, and believes strongly in the work the company men do. He sees those who oppose the United States as obstacles, as expendable, and he cares little for the lives he takes. Cinder is at his best when partnered with Dura. Their friendship allows him to lower his guard and speak more freely than he might otherwise. I really enjoy the Infamous games. While I didn't like Second Son as much as the first two, I really enjoyed the feel of Desmond's smoke powers. The way they had glowing embers at the edge of the manifestations was a great visual. When I realised that Dura was a creature of cold, and the next agent revealed in the story would be his friend, I decided a creature of heat and flame made the most sense. Somewhere between Second Son's Desmond and the Fantastic Four's Johnny Storm, Cinder bursts into a gout of burning, searing ash and embers that chokes, burns and kills those he targets. He can expand to fill a room with burning, noxious smoke, or blast a single opponent, filling the lungs with gaseous carbon. Cinder can fly, transforming into a swirl of smoke and flames, and heals almost any wound instantly. When damaged, flame and ash pour forth, but it is mostly cosmetic. It has little real effect. Cinder is the impassioned hothead, Dura's more reserved and professional demeanour. They have years of combat experience working together as a team, supporting each other's weaknesses while highlighting strengths. One of the few individuals in the company men world with the ability to teleport other matter as well as his own mass, Gates is the most mercenary of the company men. His motivation begins and ends with a paycheck, and he sees this government gig as a good thing while it lasts. Gates has an easy come, easy go nature, as his ability makes it simple for him to escape, to abandon commitments and start again elsewhere. He is able to teleport his own mass vast distances, from state to state or even between nations. His ability to teleport other matter is limited by distance and size, but he is capable of teleporting another human-sized object with himself over short distances. In combat, most frequently, he will use his powers to teleport enemies high into the air to plummet them to their deaths, or teleport them into solid matter, killing them instantly. He is also known to teleport bullets or other dense objects directly into the brains of his enemies. There's a scene in Company Men, Dead, White and Blue, where a person of interest is falling to their death from a great height. At this point I hadn't decided on the rest of the roster of the team. I only had Dura and Cinder worked out, but I figured the team would be 4 or 5 agents strong. As the person of interest fell, Dura, looking on from some distance, turns and asks another agent if he could save that person. This agent, who turned out to be Gates, says the target is too far away for his powers to be of any use. This is another example of a character appearing in my mind almost fully formed. Gates arrived in that one line after Dura asked the question. I saw him, green coat, sandy-coloured hair, a desert scarf around his neck. I knew he was a teleporter, adept at teleporting himself, but not as able to teleport others. He wasn't too worried about the target dying, not like Dura or Cinder. It was clear this guy wasn't as invested. He was mercenary, just after a quick buck. Gates' power is often thought of as utilitarian, but that's a mistake. When the man you are facing can teleport the bullets from your gun into your brain before you can pull the trigger, you're facing one of the most lethal men on the planet. 1945, Soviet forces push into Berlin. The 1,000-year Reich limps along, dying after only a few years in tenuous power. As a gunshot rings out in a bunker, and a great evil ceases to exist, the most powerful man on the planet is on a plane, being flown at top speed towards Germany. By the time he arrives, clad in red, white and blue, Hitler is dead and the war is won. A man designed and created for war, a man grown in a lab for the express purpose of ending war, has no war to fight, and ends up travelling across the country that created him, crisscrossing America for decades. His travels form him. He learns about America from the working class, from the hard men and strong women who are the backbone and lifeblood of the nation. No one knows why he took on the name Abbott. Few knows of his intended purpose or origin. He gained repute as a powerful soldier who, despite his crude demeanour and boorish attitudes, loves his country and fights for it with all of his might. Before I finished the first Company Men script, I'd already started a spin-off one-shot featuring Abbott. He quickly became one of, if not my favourite character in the series. He's rude, crude, politically incorrect, hot-headed and violent. He's also loyal and self-sacrificing. Not wholly out of a need to defend his friends, but because as one of the most powerful metahumans on the planet, he figures he is best equipped to handle any situation. I originally had the idea that Abbott had the strength, speed and durability of about 1,000 men. I did some really rough math and found that the speeds he could travel and the pressure he could withstand were, coincidentally, roughly in line with the Golden Age Supermen. I ended up increasing Abbott's power for story purposes, but I tend to think of him around about Ben Grimm's strength and durability, although Abbott was probably a lot faster. There's one scene where he and Cinder need to get somewhere really quickly. Cinder says he'll fly there and Abbott should take the car and meet him there. Abbott says, screw the car, I'll run. Abbott's no speedster and he lacks finesse, but his strength means that he can outpace any conventional vehicle's speed. Abbott is the Captain America of the Company Men world, the first superhero, a man who is more than a man created for war. But when Abbott was robbed of his war and his purpose, he found new purpose in the country that created him. His teammates don't know Abbott's past. They just know he is incredibly powerful. Physically, he's one of the strongest metahumans on the planet. Jura is often frustrated by Abbott's rashness, but knows he can count on him to go the extra mile for his teammates. When things get too dangerous, Abbott is the company men's ace in the hole, their not-so-secret weapon. The United States government has invested considerable funding towards widespread media that can only be described as propaganda aimed at metahumans. This material is as demonising as it is jingoistic. Many metahumans voluntarily register with the government to begin foreign service, as much to avoid imprisonment as to support the nation's efforts overseas. Ramjet was one such metahuman. He believes wholeheartedly in what he is doing. He's been raised to believe that when he dons his costume and fights America's enemies abroad, he will be a real-life superhero. When he sees the war firsthand, he's forced to rethink his choices and decide how far he's willing to go to be seen as a hero. Being one of the company men isn't an easy job. They have a high mortality rate and a high job turnover. When Jura's team learns of an imminent terrorist attack, he petitions the boss for some backup, a new team member to replace their last lost teammate. Boss provides Jura with what he has been asking for years, a speedster. Ramjet doesn't make a good first impression and despite his speed is left tagging along behind the team until he finds his feet. Once he does, he is an invaluable part of the team, his speed providing the company men with a huge battlefield advantage. Ramjet himself is fast enough to dodge bullets and runs and reacts at speeds that surpass even the fastest vehicles created by man. Few metahumans ever gain rank or positions of real power. Field leaders will usually be metahumans themselves, but most often directors and lead agents tend to be unpowered men and women of exceptional tactical intelligence. The woman known as the boss is one such individual. She is the direct commander of the company men division operating in the Middle East and bringing over a decade of field experience, intel gathering and logistics to the unit. Answering only to the region director, she has carte blanche to undertake operations to protect America's interests. So when her superior, a woman she's known for years, tells her to ignore rumours of an imminent terrorist threat, the boss has to make a choice: protect her career or her country, profit from a lie or pursue the truth, and whatever she decides will affect her team in ways they can't even imagine. In the first issue of Company Men, Dead, White and Blue, Jura had no sooner assassinated the dictator when he gets a call from his superior, alerting him to an emergency. One of their informants was caught crossing international lines illegally and was being detained in Nigeria for questioning. This informant was in the possession of highly important intel. This information was to be retrieved by any means necessary. Jura was told to rendezvous with his teammate who was on site ASAP. As I wrote the scene, I was surprised to find Jura acquiescing to this voice. He seemed like a really strong individual. Why was he following orders so readily? I knew then that this superior that was giving him orders must be accomplished, ruthless and intelligent. How much more striking would this combination be if the commander was a woman? A woman does have to work hard to receive recognition in male-dominated fields. For a woman to reach this level of responsibility and power, she must be highly accomplished. I wanted to be able to convey that idea unsaid. When someone as powerful as even Abbott listens to and follows the orders of this woman, you know she must be badass. While Boss herself doesn't have any powers, she does have a small mobile nanite supercomputer. It records, assesses and collates data, allows real-time worldwide communications, hacks devices and hijacks information streams. In times of danger, it can generate a short-lived protective field or reconfigure its mass to create a bionic replacement hand for one that she lost in combat. Well configured this way, her hand can discharge an immense electrical blast, create a localized field of protective energy, and even block small caliber bullets. The Company Men, Dead, White and Blue is a 60-page full-color comic book. The original script was for a 180-page book, but without traditional distribution channels, trying to get a book that large to customers is a financial improbability. It also takes several years to draw colour and letter. The decision was made then to split the book into 3 60-page issues. Fortunately, the story follows a 3-act structure and very easily allows for such a separation. The image you see here is the cover for issue 1, which will be funding on the Indiegogo platform early in 2021. Currently 60% of the art is complete, and the team is on track to have the print file of the comic 100% complete before the campaign even goes live. Our goal is to bring you the best comic possible in a timely fashion. Once funds are transferred, it's simply a matter of printing the books and beginning fulfillment. At this point, with much of my own money invested in the project, I'm not planning for add-ons, no stickers or trading cards or bookmarks. My sole aim is to create the best book possible with the resources and talent that I have available to me. It's not inconceivable that some of these tchotchkes could manifest as the campaign progresses, but the goal is to generate enough profit to seed the creation of the next issue of Company Men, Dead, White and Blue, in a much smaller time frame. I began working on the art myself, drawing up character sketches, costume designs, and the panels the first half a dozen pages. I knew my art wasn't really up to standard, but I figured I could fake my way through some Bruce Timm type looseness. It wouldn't be great, but I believed in the story, and in my writing. I thought that it would carry the comic. It would be good enough. I wasn't planning on selling the book, I just wanted to make a comic. I had this story that I really enjoyed, and I knew there would be others who would also enjoy it. I didn't see this as a project for profit, more a labour of love, but love doesn't put food on the table. I made next to no progress on the project. I worked from contract to contract in a demanding field, and the motivation to produce a subpar product just wasn't there. With my career field taking a big hit due to the COVID scamdemic, I found myself unemployed. My wife encouraged me to use this time to liaise with a talented artist and colourist to create the comic I had been dreaming about for some years. After seeing the success of indie comics, particularly Comicscape projects, I decided to use the Indiegogo crowdfunding platform to attempt to launch a career writing and creating comics. This project is a first step in building that career. Company Men Dead, White and Blue is a 3-issue series that tells a single story. The team's race to stop an imminent terrorist attack in a small Middle Eastern nation and that, if successful, would force American forces to invest time, money and manpower to stabilise the region. I've completed the script on Company Men 2, titled Heart of Darkness, wherein the team pursues a rogue nuclear weapon into the lawless regions of Africa before it's used to fuel a world-ending threat. Book 3 is nearly completely scripted. It's titled Cold War, and details the final days of a Middle Eastern war as the dictator tries to acquire and use a reality-altering weapon to snatch victory from defeat. Book 4, so far the final planned book in the series, is called Insurgent. The company men are attacked from within and without. Their funding is cut, their roster disbanded, and the former members are being assassinated worldwide. A powerful foe is determined to wipe out the organisation, and the original members of the team have to overcome their differences to save the world one last time as the sins of their past return to haunt them. While I have 4 company men stories planned, each story comprised of 3 issues of 60 pages each, it's not the end of the franchise. Aside from various one-shots and spin-offs, such as Abbott's journey across America to protect the secret of his origin and put a dangerous metahuman weapons dealer out of business for good, there is a mostly written miniseries called Company Men Black. In it, the boss has assembled temporary teams of metahumans and gifted soldiers to undertake off-the-books operations. Black refers to the kind of missions they undertake in this series. The 3 standalone issues are titled Black Site, Black Bag and Black Ops. In each issue, characters from other franchises, some I own, some others, are grouped together by the boss to stop vast and imminent threats. Time is of the essence, and boss doesn't have time to wait for permission from oversight committees. These missions are bloody, dirty, and off the books. These comics are full of gritty intrigue, bloody action, spycraft, double dealing, and betrayal. Once completed, I'll have invested $20,000 of my own money into this book. I'm not looking to recoup those expenses. They are the cost of doing business, an investment in the future. Any monies remaining after fulfillment of Book 1 is complete will go into ensuring Book 2 and 3 are completed as quickly as possible without compromising on quality. I hope you will be motivated to join me on this journey, to trust me with a portion of your time, your money, and in return, I'll make the best comics I can, in the hope it entertains you in a way that modern comics fail to do. The link to the sign-up page for Company Men, Dead, White and Blue is in the description below. Sign up for the chance to win original art pages from the comic. Like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter to stay updated on news about the Company Men, and share this video to increase the visibility of this project. Thanks for watching and take care.